Hey everyone, welcome to this deep dive. You guys have sent over some seriously good stuff. You've been thinking about your career goals, where you want your finances to be. You even included some smart ideas about grabbing people's attention, and this amazing list of resources. It's all really valuable stuff.
Right, so let's get into it. What we want to do today is go through all of that and figure out what you can actually do right now to feel more on top of your finances and your career, all while you're still at your current job.
Totally. We're talking about feeling more empowered, having more control over your work life, and feeling better overall, and all of that comes straight from what you've shared with us. Where do we even start with all of this?
Well, I think the first thing, and this is especially true if you're feeling that Sunday night dread about going back to work, is you've got to really pinpoint what's causing that feeling. What specific parts of your job are making you unhappy and draining your energy?
Yeah, I get that. Just saying I don't like my job doesn't tell you much, right? It's too general.
Exactly. It's like having a headache. You don't just say, my head hurts. You try to figure out, is it a tension headache? Is it a sinus thing? What exactly is going on?
That's a good point. If you can isolate the problem, you can usually find a way to fix it or at least make it better.
Exactly. One thing you can try is keeping an energy calendar. It's where you actually keep track of your energy levels throughout the day and see how they relate to what you're doing at work. Are there certain meetings that just wipe you out? And are there other tasks that actually give you energy, even if they're challenging?
That's an interesting idea. I like that it's not just about what you like or dislike, but about how different tasks actually impact you physically.
It's all about those energy reserves.
Mm.
When you understand what's draining them and what's refilling them, you can start making little changes to your day. And you can also start thinking about bigger, long-term changes to your career, whether that's at your current job or somewhere else entirely.
It's funny, a lot of people think that if they're unhappy at work, there's no way they're going to make more money there. Is that another one of those limiting beliefs we need to debunk?
Totally. Feeling stuck in a job you don't like can make you feel like you're also stuck at a certain salary. But from what you've shared, it's totally possible to achieve financial freedom and even get to that seven-figure salary range, all by getting promotions and raises within your current company.
Seven figures at the same company. That's pretty impressive.
The key is focusing on the things you can control, on how to make yourself more valuable to your company, no matter how you feel about your job right now.
Got it. So if we want to make more money at our current jobs, we need to become more valuable. What skills do we need to develop to make that happen?
There are a few main things that stand out. The first is communication. And I don't just mean being a good talker. It's about being strategic, letting people know about your accomplishments, being clear and concise in your messages, and always thinking about things from the other person's perspective.
So it's not just about doing good work, but making sure the right people know about it in the right way.
Right. One thing you can try is sending a quick email to your boss every Monday morning. Just a short update summarizing what you achieved last week and what you're focusing on this week. Also, always go into those one-on-one meetings with your boss prepared to share specific examples of how you've contributed.
Those shameless Monday morning emails, I've heard of those. It's a good way to make sure people are aware of what you're doing.
Yeah, and when you are communicating, make sure you're getting to the point quickly and making an impact. There's this idea of taming the octopus. You don't want your communication to go off in too many directions and lose its focus. And when you're presenting something, think about the grab first slide principle. That first slide should capture people's attention and give them the most important information right away.
And what about focusing on the other person's perspective? How does that help us get ahead in our careers?
It's all about using that you versus I approach. Instead of just talking about what you want or what you need, focus on how what you're doing and what you're suggesting benefits your boss and helps the company achieve its goals. That shows you're thinking strategically.
Makes sense. What's the next important skill?
Proactivity and taking initiative. This means taking ownership and not waiting for someone to tell you what to do. Think about it as swallowing the frog for your boss, doing those tasks that they really don't want to do but need to get done.
So being the person who takes care of the unpleasant stuff so your boss doesn't have to, I can see how that would be appreciated.
And also becoming a resourceful person, the one who can figure things out, even when they're facing something new. And don't forget to take the initiative to schedule those career development conversations with your boss. Don't wait for them to bring it up.
Be proactive, not reactive.
Exactly. Another crucial skill is value creation. It's all about focusing on what the company needs and finding ways to contribute more than what your job description said.
Going above and beyond.
Exactly. Then there's relationship building. And I know it sounds a little fluffy, but it's super important for your career. This includes becoming your boss's favorite employee, not by sucking up to them, but by being someone they can rely on, someone who's really good at their job, and someone who understands their priorities and what they're going through.
It's about building trust and respect.
Right. And networking is also key. Get to know people in other departments, connect with leaders in the company. You want to be seen as an energizer, someone who brings positive energy to the team and helps create a good working environment.
Someone who lifts people up, basically.
And lastly, being good at problem solving and being adaptable. This means being able to figure things out when you run into obstacles and being willing to learn new things and adjust to changes.
So we've talked about these important skills: communication, proactivity, creating value, building relationships, and problem solving. But how do we actually show our employers that we have these skills? What specific actions can we take to move our careers forward?
You've got to put those skills into practice with communication, like we talked about. Those Monday morning emails and well-prepared one-on-ones are key. And always remember that grab first slide principle when you're presenting something.
Make sure your message is clear and impactful right from the start.
Right. If you want to show you can add value beyond your current role, look for those frogs your boss is avoiding. Be the person who figures things out. And keep an eye out for those cracked doors, those unexpected opportunities to step up and contribute in new ways.
Basically, be proactive and look for ways to contribute, even if it's not explicitly part of your job description.
You got it. When it comes to relationships, work on building a good connection with your boss, but also be that energizer on your team and make an effort to connect with other leaders in the company.
Be someone people enjoy working with.
That's it. And don't forget about good communication. Learn to tame the octopus so you're clear and concise. Get good at presenting 3 options with a point of view to show you're thinking strategically, and always use that you versus I approach in your interactions.
So it's not enough to just have these skills. You have to actively use them to show the company how valuable you are.
Exactly. And one last thing, take control of your career. Don't wait for things to happen to you. Schedule those career development talks with your boss. And when you do, ask good what and how questions so you can both work together to figure out the best way for you to grow.
Work together towards your career goals.
That's the idea. I know all of this sounds like a lot, but it's really about using your current job as a stepping stone to something better.
So how do we actually do that? How do we use our current jobs to get to where we want to be in the long run?
A big part of it is building that strategic relationship with your boss. That whole thing about becoming your boss's favorite employee, it's so important because they have a lot of say in what happens to your career at the company.
So understanding their priorities and helping them succeed is key.
And when you have those one-on-one meetings with them, be prepared. Think about the business, the team, your own career goals, and come ready to talk about it all. And those shameless Monday morning emails where you highlight your accomplishments, those are really helpful. They create a record of what you've done.
So keep track of your wins and make sure people know about them.
Right. And remember that you focused communication with your boss. When you talk about what you're doing and your ideas, frame it in terms of how it benefits them and the company. And when you do communicate, do it with conviction. Be clear, present your options well, show them you're confident and you're thinking strategically. Being that positive energizer also helps a lot. It makes you someone they want to invest in and support.
It's all connected. Good communication, strong relationships, always adding value.
Yes. And take charge of your professional development. Schedule those career conversations, not just with your direct manager, but maybe even with their boss too. It gives you a wider perspective on what's happening in the company and what opportunities might be out there. And when you're talking about raises and promotions, use those what and how questions to figure out what specific steps you need to take.
Make it a team effort.
That's right. And don't forget about your own energy. Use that energy calendar to figure out what tasks give you energy and try to do more of those. Maybe even find some energizing side projects, either within the company or outside of it. And always look for those opportunities to swallow the frog for your boss and be the person who figures things out.
Become indispensable.
Exactly. And remember, your compensation is more than just your salary. Think about those opportunities for growth, access to valuable networks, all those other benefits that aren't just money. And always be on the lookout for those cracked doors, those unexpected openings that could lead to something new and exciting within the company.
So even if you feel stuck right now, there are things you can do to grow and create opportunities without having to leave your current job.
Right. That feeling of being stuck It often comes from thinking that you're stuck with a job you don't like and the salary, that's not enough. You have to challenge that belief and realize that things can change.
It's a mindset shift.
Totally. It's about taking control of your career, adding value, focusing on the things that give you energy, realizing that compensation is more than just a paycheck, and always looking for those cracked doors.
Focus on what you can change.
Exactly. And speaking of compensation, let's talk about negotiating your total compensation package. It's not just about the salary.
Right, there's a lot more to it than that. What else should we be thinking about when we're negotiating with our employers?
Think back to those non-monetary benefits we talked about. Look for opportunities to learn new skills, get access to variable networks, maybe even travel for work. Flexibility is also huge. Being able to work remotely, have flexible hours, or just having more control over how you manage your work.
Those kinds of things can make a big difference in your quality of life.
For sure. And don't forget about professional development. Maybe your company offers tuition reimbursement for courses or mentorship programs. And of course, there are the traditional benefits like paid time off, health insurance, and retirement contributions.
So when you're talking about your compensation, consider everything, not just the number on your paycheck.
Right. And when you're asking for these things, make sure you explain how they benefit the company. Will more flexibility make you more productive? Will that training program help you perform better and benefit your team?
Make it a win-win for you and the company.
Exactly. Now, let's talk about networking and mentorship. They can be really important for your career growth and can often lead to better compensation.
How do those things help us move up in our careers?
Well, building relationships with people beyond your immediate team makes you more visible within the company. Remember, companies are like little societies, and being that positive energizer makes people want to connect with you. And those networks you build, those are valuable in themselves. They can open doors to opportunities you might not have known about otherwise.
So it's about building your reputation and opening yourself up to new possibilities.
Exactly. And getting to know more senior people in the company can often lead to mentorship. These mentors can give you advice, share their experiences, and even advocate for you as you move up in the company. Don't forget, you can even try to negotiate for mentorship as part of your compensation package.
That's interesting. I never thought of mentorship as something you could negotiate for.
It's a valuable benefit. Now, if we were to sum up everything we've talked about into one piece of advice for moving your career forward at your current company, what would it be?
I think it's this. Focus on understanding what your manager and the company need and find ways to add significant value. And then make sure they know about it. Make sure your contributions are visible.
You nailed it. When you're feeling stuck in your career, it's easy to feel helpless. But you have more power than you think. Becoming your boss's favorite employee is so important because they often have a lot of influence over your career. And to do that, you need to understand their priorities, anticipate their needs, and make their lives easier. Be the one who swallows the frog and figures things out.
Be indispensable.
Right, and that visibility piece is crucial. It's not just about what you do, it's about what your boss thinks you do. That's why those shameless Monday morning emails are so effective. They keep your accomplishments top of mind.
So it's about doing great work and making sure the right people know about it.
Exactly. And if you do all of this, you'll see a huge improvement in your financial and career well-being.
So we've come full circle. How does everything we've talked about lead to that feeling of being more in control and happier at work?
Think about the results. Earning more money reduces financial stress and gives you more options in the future. Focusing on your career development and building stronger relationships with your managers makes you feel more satisfied at work and like you're making progress. Paying attention to your energy levels and pursuing those side projects that you're passionate about brings more joy into your life. Building your skills and your reputation, that career capital we talked about, puts you in the driver's seat of your career. And even just thinking about potential exit strategies, maybe through a side hustle, can make you feel less trapped.
It's not just about achieving external goals, but about feeling more in control internally.
Exactly. It's about changing how you see yourself in your career, realizing that you can actually influence your financial and career outcomes. And that leads to less stress, more confidence, more happiness, and a more meaningful career journey.
So we're all busy and stressed. If we want to thrive at work and achieve these goals, what are the best things we can do to manage stress and maintain a good work-life balance?
There are a few important things to focus on. Building good relationships at work, especially with your boss, is key for reducing stress. Increasing your visibility through those Monday morning emails and other communication helps reduce uncertainty. Taking charge of your career development through those one-on-ones and career conversations gives you a sense of direction and control. Paying attention to your energy levels and finding energizing side projects can help prevent burnout. Realizing that compensation isn't just about your salary takes some of the pressure off. Having a growth mindset and always striving to be the person who figures things out builds confidence and resilience. Being a positive energizer on your team helps create a more supportive and less stressful environment. And if you need to, think about a gradual transition, maybe by starting a side hustle to explore other career options.
It's about taking a holistic approach, focusing on your career, but also on your well-being and long-term success.
Absolutely. And at the foundation of all of this is developing a growth mindset. How does that help us achieve both career and financial success?
It's about believing that you can learn new things, improve your skills, and achieve more than you currently think is possible. It's about not letting your current limitations define you.
Exactly. And all the things we've been talking about, they all contribute to building that growth mindset, engaging in those career development conversations, making sure your accomplishments are visible, focusing on adding value, using that you versus I communication, developing your communication skills, being a positive and collaborative team member, seeking mastery in your work, recognizing that compensation is more than just your salary, and being open to those cracked doors. All of these actions show you what you're capable of.
It's about taking action and seeing the results.
Exactly. Now, for those thinking about the long term, what are some ways to start building passive income streams while still working full time?
That's a big goal for a lot of people. Making money even when you're not actively working. How can someone realistically do that while still working their full-time job?
A lot of times, it starts with using the skills and knowledge you already have. Think about creating digital products, like online courses or templates, writing blog posts or making videos, building a website for a specific audience, or even trying affiliate marketing. The idea is that you put in the work up front, and then it could potentially generate income over time, even when you're not actively working on it.
So you create something valuable that can keep working for you.
Exactly. But it's important to be realistic. It will still take some effort to maintain those income streams, and you have to be careful not to burn yourself out.
Trying to work full-time and build passive income streams can be exhausting, especially in the beginning.
You're right. You need to be honest with yourself about how much time and energy you have. Be ruthless in your prioritization. Choose a side hustle that you're actually interested in and good at. Start slowly and build up gradually. Set boundaries between your job, your side hustle, and your personal life. Make sure you're getting enough rest and taking care of yourself. And don't be afraid to ask for help. Regularly check in with yourself to see how you're doing, both with the work and how you're feeling. See if there are tasks you can automate or outsource. And most importantly, remember why you're doing this. What's your motivation for building these income streams?
Having a clear why can really help you get through the tough times.
It can. And when you're thinking about side hustle ideas, the best place to start is with the skills and knowledge you already have. Can you freelance or consult in your field? Can you create a digital product based on your expertise? Can you write or create content about your industry? Do you have connections you can leverage? Even those job crafting insights, figuring out what you enjoy and excel at in your current job, can give you ideas for a side hustle.
So it's about looking at what you're already good at and figuring out how to use it in a different way to make money.
That's the idea. And for those who are working full-time and want to start a side hustle, there are some categories that tend to be more manageable. Think about things like freelancing, consulting, creating digital products, writing or making videos, tutoring or teaching online, doing affiliate marketing, participating in the gig economy, or selling things online. But remember, consider how much time it will take, what skills you'll need, how much it will cost to get started, how flexible it is, and whether you're actually passionate about it.
Find something that fits into your life and that you'll actually enjoy doing.
Right. Now, we've been talking a lot about increasing your income, but before you go into those salary negotiations, it's crucial to know your worth. How can an employee figure out what their market value is?
That's so important. You need to know what you're worth before you can confidently ask for more.
You got it. While it's great to focus on showing your value to your current employer, knowing your market value gives you a baseline for those conversations. Here's what you do. First, think about your skills, your accomplishments, and what you've achieved in your past jobs. Then, do your research. Look at online salary resources. Look at job postings for similar roles. Talk to other people in your industry to see what they're making. Also, remember that your location and the type of company you work for will impact your salary. And don't forget to factor in your benefits when you're considering your total compensation.
So it's about knowing your strengths and doing your research.
Exactly. Once you know your market value, you're in a much stronger position to negotiate your salary. What are some good tactics to use in those conversations?
Well, based on what we've talked about, building a good relationship with your boss is essential. Being prepared for those one-on-one meetings, keeping track of your accomplishments, and sending those shameless Monday morning emails all help to make sure your boss is aware of your value. And then when you're talking to them, use that you-focused communication. Tame the octopus. Show them you're confident. Be a positive energizer. Schedule those career development conversations and ask those what and how questions to make it a collaborative effort.
You got it.
Yeah.
Show them your value, communicate it clearly and confidently, and work together to find a solution that benefits both of you.
Now, what if someone has done all of this, but they're still unhappy or feel like they're not growing? What are the signs that it might be time to leave a job, and how should they prepare for that?
That's a good question. Some signs that it might be time to move on include feeling consistently dissatisfied with your job, not having opportunities to grow, not feeling like your work matters, not getting recognized for your efforts, being in a toxic work environment, or realizing that you can't achieve your long-term goals at your current company.
Those are all good reasons to start looking for something new.
They are. If you're thinking about leaving, here's how to prepare. Really think about what you want in a job. Maybe use that energy calendar to figure out what motivates you. Keep building your skills and your network. Explore those energizing side projects to see if there are other career paths you might be interested in. Network with people both inside and outside your current industry. Research salaries in your field so you know what to expect. Think about your exit strategy. Maybe try a side hustle to test the waters in a new area. And make sure your resume and LinkedIn profile are up to date.
So even if you're leaving, it's about being proactive and strategic.
Right. Now, you put together a fantastic list of resources. Can you tell our listeners about those?
Sure. For online learning, there are platforms like Coursera, Udemy, Skillshare, and Google Skillshop, which offer tons of courses on different topics. For career development, there's LinkedIn, Indeed, Glassdoor, and books on negotiation and career management. For personal finance and side hustles, there are blogs, podcasts, freelancing platforms, YouTube channels, and books. For networking and mentorship, there are industry associations, Meetup, and online mentorship platforms. And for mindset and personal development, there are books, meditation apps, and podcasts.
That's a great list. Lots of resources to support everything we talked about today.
So the main takeaway is this. You can take control of your finances and your career, even while you're at your current job. It takes effort, strategy, a focus on adding value and making sure that value is recognized.
Absolutely. We encourage you to think about what resonated with you today and what actions you can take.
Here's a question for you to think about. What's one small but important thing you can do this week to start moving your career in the direction you want to go? And if you enjoyed this deep dive, please like and share it with your friends. We'd also love to hear what other questions you have or what topics you'd like us to cover in future deep dives.